Ryan P. Wilson here. We're going to take a look at the rig we used on Piranhaconda. It was built entirely in Houdini, so all I have to do if I want to start a new shot, install digital asset, load up our rig, and pull in a Piranhaconda rig. Comes in just like that. By default, you can't select the master controller, and that's to make it easy to select his body control points. So they're all numbered. So let's say I was taking point 4 and I moved it, and it's easy to find the controls over here because it's labeled point 4. Now there's two methods for controlling the spline. There's NURBS and Bezier. I have it set to NURBS right now, which just auto-interpolates the tangents, makes it for fast animation. But if you want to do something specific, such as have him go over a stick, you can switch it to Bezier mode. Now I'll show you using point 4. You can change the tangent at that point. So if I move this up, you'll see by changing the tangent, I can control how sharp that is. So if I dropped in a tube, and I change the axis to be on the x-axis, and I'll just move that over here. So if I wanted to have him crawl over, say, a large tube like this, let's say it was a big log or something, or a big pipe. You gotta remember, this creature is 100 feet long. What I can do is I can just adjust the tangent until it looks about right. Move that down. There we go. Now if you take his head controller and you just pull that, his body will move along that tube perfectly. And all of the control points have rotation. Now the best feature of this rig is definitely the attach to curve. I'll show you how that works now. I'm going to put it back to NURBS mode, get rid of that tube. So if we were doing a shot where, say, the snake was chasing a car or anything, what we'd do is we'd draw a spline, set it to NURBS. We can call that PC path. We click on the Piranhaconda, go over to the animation path tab, hit use animation path, select the path, and it will automatically attach him to the curve. And it attaches his actual controllers. So as you animate that along, he'll move along the path. Now what you can do is you can detach components of the rig. So I can take his head, for example, which is head 1 translate, and click detach from curve. So now it's completely detached, and I can do whatever animation I want with that. Or I can simply take off the orient, and I could attach that to a look at constraint or whatever I want. The producer of the film was very adamant that the creature always kept focus on his prey. So this allowed us to achieve that very easily. We could just hand animate the head rotation as it followed the curve. So for example, if I put the head rotation right there, set a key on it, go to the animation path, set a key on that, move ahead a few frames, and then I could change his head, put key on that. This allowed us to do a number of shots very quickly. We could get the main animation of his body and just detach the head and maybe the first few neck components and do some hand keyframe animation on those. Now let's take a look at his facial and head animation controls. So we've got a jaw control, a head control, which gives him a fish-like movement, and the main head control, which can be rotated and translated. The tongue is one of the best features. Let me just show you how that works. Just go to the tongue tab here, and you can animate the tongue position to shoot it in and out of his mouth. Now the main curve with those red controllers, that's the main tongue path. So you can key these things. So now his tongue path moves, and we can animate his tongue sticking out. So shoot his tongue out, key that, and then by 24 we'll put it back in. So now you can easily animate his tongue, shooting out, moving around. Now the tongue itself actually has its own animation controllers, which allows you to fork the tongue. So as he sticks his tongue out, he can flick that fork out. I'll turn off the controller so you can see what that looks like. We'll just go frame by frame. So that's how quickly you can get a very nice reptile tongue. Now we're currently in preview mode, so we don't have any of the high-res geometry. It's just a quick deformation to allow for real-time animation. if you turn off low res, it pulls in the high res base mesh. And we've got a bunch of blend shapes on here. So now when he closes his jaw, you can see we have blend shapes all the way back here to where his gills are, and we have them all in the face muscles here. And that allows for a musculature under the skin. So take a look in this area here, and I'll turn that off. You can see it makes a big difference. If you watch right here, you'll see those muscles flexing. Now, the way we did that is very easy. All you need to do, if you want to add blend shapes like that to your work, go into the Piranhaconda geometry. And here's all the blend shapes that do that. So all I do is click on the deformation node, and that's where I can append a sculpt node or an edit node and edit the geometry in any way I want while he's in his posed form. So I'll just drop in a sculpt node. Turn symmetry on. I go reflective on the x-axis. Okay, so let's say I had him in this pose and I wanted this muscle to bulge a little bit right here. So what I'd do, just carefully sculpt in what I want to see. If you right click, you can set what each mouse button does. I can set middle mouse to smooth, so now I can smooth. And once I'm happy with the sculpting, all you do is take that node, shake it to pull it out, prior to the deformation, plug the sculpt back in, plug it into the blend shape node, and on the blend shape node, add a new input. So there's a new blend shape input. Now we'll go back to the deform node, and we can just turn that slider up, and that's how we can add that blend back in that we painted in the deform pose. So it's extremely easy to put him in the pose where you want to do your blend shapes, get it looking right while he's in that pose, remove the node, move it back up, plug it into the blend shape node, which happens prior to the rig deformations, and then we can simply connect that to the jaw control. So I just use some channel operations here, some expressions, and a fit to control how the blends come into play depending on the position of his jaw. Now, just out of curiosity, I'll show you what the rig looks like. That's the whole network. So these are the bones for his body. These are the bones for his tongue. These are the tongue controllers. These are the tongue fork controllers. And these are the body controllers. Anyway, so that's the Piranhaconda rig. I'll do another tutorial on how we did the wrinkles and muscle deformations at render time. Thanks.